Hello once again, everybody. I'm Jim Noble, along with Wofford head football coach Sean Watson. It is time for another edition of Inside Wofford Football, brought to you by Yokohama. Well, once again, another tight game. Once again, some big plays for the Terriers at all three phases of the game. But once again, man, frustrating loss, 23-21 to Western Carolina. I know, Coach, we've both seen in the past, sometimes a team is knocking on that door and chopping wood every day. And at some point, that door gets kicked in. Do you kind of feel that things are there for the taking? You just need that one good result?
Well, we do. And, you do keep knocking, you do keep chopping. And at the same time, the reality is you got to face the realities of where we need to grow and get better. And we do that first as coaches, staff. We've got to, we've continued to address what we need to do in all three phases. And then, keep pouring into the kids, because we have some guys, we always challenge them to level up. And the guys have been leveling up. We had some really outstanding performances by some young players pressed into action for the first time. And then some guys have been, maybe a backup or maybe a 3, a 2A or 2B, or really a 2B in the depth chart that they've had to level up and play. So the kids are doing a good, I'm really proud of them. They have leveled up and they are working hard, and we just got to keep working. I mean, to get to the other side, you got to keep working.
Well, coming up, we'll look back at the second conference game of this season. We'll see if we can get some of these injured Terriers back in action. A lot of nagging injuries on this team right now. And look ahead to a non-conference game in the middle of October. Interesting, with Norfolk State coming to town on Saturday. It's all ahead here on Inside Wofford Football. Welcome back. Saturday at Gibbs Stadium, high-flying offense of Western Carolina comes to town. First off, coming off the bye week, I know we had some unexpected injuries that kind of cropped up, and we actually had more guys on the injury report coming out of the bye than we did coming in. Working around those, it's an opportunity for these young kids to play, but boy, you'd love to have your starters in there as well.
We would, obviously, point blank. We did get some guys back, like Mason Howard was able to come back and played a significant amount of the ball game once we got him in there. So that was a good thing. And then defensively, we're missing some guys still yet, like CJ and Max. CJ's coming off of a knee, was better. We just did a pre-game workout with him. It just didn't feel like we didn't want to compromise him because he's making such good progress, and we can have him better this week and moving forward. And then, Max got hurt in that Virginia Tech game, and he's coming through concussion protocol. And, anytime you go through that stuff, and then, Cade and Elijah, Cade came from the Virginia Tech game, and Elijah actually got hurt in practice. So we got to get those guys through the protocol, and you don't mess with that. You get them through the protocol.
Well, starting out against Western Carolina, actually, it was the defense making the first big play. You got a big sack from Marion Smokes and ended their first possession. And then, you get the ball back, great field position. You have a 4th and 2 around midfield, and I'll tell you what, my broadcast partner, Tom Henson, he loves the wheel route, and the Terriers ran it to perfection.
2 from the Western 49 is Whitaker. And wide open is Jackson Anderson, 30, 20, 10, touchdown Terriers. A 4th and short blows open, and Wofford has the lead.
Isa Jackson Anderson with the touchdown. Great ball by Jaden Whitaker. Great concept of a play. Who came up with that one?
We did as a staff. I mean, we work hard together. It's, we felt like, especially in those situations, there was a tendency there that they were a cat. That's a pressure out of the corner team, and, that route would run right by it. And that's exactly what happened. And we have a bunch of pick routes going on inside, which also protect us from, that they're a man team on that down and distance. So, we all get in there and we all work hard together to get those things. And that was a really, we had as our number one call in that situation for those reasons.
By the way, I love the trickeration on the two-point conversion. And Blake Shirley, is there anything the guy hasn't done on this team? Our long snapper catches a pass in the end zone from our backup quarterback, Tanner Staten, and it's 8-0 Terriers at that point. And then, Western Carolina is going to come back, and Teron Dickens, we know what he did with the 46 consecutive completions, set an NCAA record. But on that next possession, it seemed that you guys were trying to keep everything in front of you defensively. They were dinking and dunking, and you know what? They made the passes, they made the catches, able to move the ball down the field, able to score a touchdown to make it 8-7 after one. But as you saw that first half progress and saw the way that they were either going to take what was there or not really test us deep, how did you think that defensive philosophy was going to work long term?
Well, I thought Mitch and the defensive staff, John, they did a great job putting together a plan considering, what we were dealing with injury-wise. Because, again, we had a lot of, guys that were backups as they began, or a backup to the backup, a 2B player. So they did a great job of keeping the ball in front. They were giving up, they gave those little perimeter passes. I think there was a total of 7 passes or over 10 yards. So, it was a matter of, keeping everything in front because they're an explosive offense. I mean, they do a great job. I love, their scheme, what they do with it, to, really attack the perimeter. And we gave that up and rallied to make the plays, and I think they did a really good job of keeping the ball in front of them and kept the score down because that's the lowest score they've had all year long. So it was I thought the kids on defense did a good job of executing that plan.
Yeah, and down 4 starters, as you mentioned, too. A lot of guys really had to sup up, which we'll get into. So second quarter, again, the defense gets a big 4th down stop, and that's almost like a turnover when you are able to stop them. Offensively, you get the ball back, and I know sustaining that run game is something that's been elusive this year. And just trying to – so many good things happen when you're able to establish the run. It just really didn't get going on Saturday. And are there things that you guys have talked about doing maybe down the road to try to affect that, whether it's scheme, moving people around, philosophy, anything like that?
Well, there's always philosophy. I've been pushing our staff to do some things, in our tempo packages, and I'm just throwing down 51% hammer, and we're going to move forward in that direction because I think that'll help us out and also get a number of our playmakers involved in the run game. So we just got to keep working that out, and our play action passes were pretty spot on. We've got to do a good job. We just got to finish. We had some more explosives out there, and we got to finish those plays.
Speaking of explosive, it was 14-8 late in the first half, and you and I have talked about the Black Ops and how, by and large, they've done a really nice job. Well, we saw that in the waning seconds of the first half.
Coming, can't get there. Scott back, makes a guy miss. He's got an open field if he can turn the corner. There he goes. Isaiah Scott down the sidelines for a Terrier touchdown.
He got a great block on the punter. Something you don't usually say, but a great block on the punter.
Isaiah Scott turned out to be a 66-yard punt return, and lo and behold, the Terriers are leading at halftime 15-14. That special teams unit, in terms of punt coverage, kickoff coverage, the return game, most of the special teams has really been a bright spot so far lately.
It's been a great spot. I think we've delivered, change of possession, plays. We've gotten block punt, block field goal, which obviously keeps points off the board too, gives us the ball, and we've returned two, returns, one on the kickoff, one on the punt, and we've been really good on the kickoff, getting the ball out beyond the 35-yard line. So Dustin does a tremendous job. He's always got a plan, and what he's done a great job of, and is we've put on a number of our players. If you want to play in our program, if you're a backup, you want more time, here's how you get it. Go get on special teams, because he makes it fun. He's done a great job schematically, and he's going to play you. He's going to play effort guys.
And it's funny because we mentioned Blake Shirley, our long snapper. He gets down the field and makes tackles. Wyatt Ward, who got his first college start at linebacker, he was the guy that first flashed on special teams this year. So that's a great way to make coaches and fans notice you. And I think it also buys into the philosophy of, if you do the little things, you'll get noticed.
No doubt. We've had guys, Mark Arthur's a guy, Perrin Kitchen's a guy. We've had guys that have just really stepped up in that aspect, and they've, now, Wyatt's a great example. He was, probably the third linebacker. Now he's starting, and because he's such an impact player, Terrence Honeywood, Terrence is the same guy. Terrence he might be the best special team player we have, and now he's a starting X.
All right, so we'll go ahead to the third quarter now, and another fourth down stop on Western Carolina's first drive. Things are looking pretty good. You did get Marion Smokes and Brandon Mena back. With all the changes in the linebacker core and the secondary. How good did you feel about the defensive line's play?
It felt real good, and they needed to show up for us, because to do the things we had to do schematically to cover up some starters being straight. And then playing against that style of offense, the front guys had to play big and had to free up the linebackers, which I thought Wyatt had a really good day because of what they were doing up front.
They were on the field for a long time. I think Western ended up running more than 90 plays. But again, keeping those big plays to a minimum, Western was able to drive down the field. Dickens to Tyre, hooked up 3 times, got the touchdown to retake the lead. But then again, waning seconds this time of the third quarter, another big home run play for the Terriers.
Wofford's going to go deep on first down. Wide open is Akins. He's got it. And he's not going to be caught. Touchdown, Terriers. There are no flags, and it's an 80-yard touchdown from Whitaker to Ivory Akins.
And a monster play, Jaden Whitaker to Ivory Akins for the touchdown. First of all, Jaden had time to throw. And I think he had time to throw by and large, with some exceptions on Saturday. And Ivory, man, you get those Florida guys out in space with some green grass, and you see what can happen. Huge weapon for you guys.
Yeah, our offensive line did a really good job all day, like you just mentioned, in protection, gave us a chance to get the ball down the field. And, that was a play that we actually ran the first play of the game, and we had it wide open. And, we got back to it at the appropriate time, which was, we wanted to get back to it early in the second half, and we had it again. This time, we missed the throw the first time, and then we made the throw this time. And, it was a well-executed play by Ivory and a great job by Whit.
And then Black Ops again, blocked a field goal. Things are looking good. You're feeling good about it. You have the ball, trying to drive down, trying to take some clock, trying to go up 2 scores. And I know the fourth down play, the decision there to go for it, I don't think a field goal did you much good there, considering what the score was. But you'd love to convert that one and hold on to the football a little bit longer.
You do. We made an aggressive decision, that to go ahead and go for it on that fourth down. We just missed a field goal, and we felt like, we had a really good play on. We did. We've got there was a guy open in the flat that we've got to get the ball out to, and it's designed to get a quick throw in the flat. Just basically all the defense was in the core. So we just got to finish the play, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go, and that's a long time for an offense like Western Carolina, and they do drive down. They do get a field goal. They did a good job of bleeding the clock down to where we didn't have much time to do anything with, and it turned out to be a 23-21 final. We talk about trusting the process, and we talk about, keeping everybody pulling on the same end of the rope a little bit. I know I'm pulling out every football cliche here, but for kids who are now 0-5 and have been pouring it out on the field each and every day, what do you as a coaching staff do to keep their spirits up?
Number one, recognize their effort, and number two, keeping, encouraging them as we do. We try to be the example around this building. Level up. That means keep giving your best, and then tighten up, which means make sure that it's always on task, on target with standard that we're aspiring to. So we just keep working them. You got to, how do you get to the other side? You work your way through it.
That work continues. Coming up, another home game at Gibbs Stadium. We will talk about the visit by the Spartans of Norfolk State next here on Inside Wofford Football, brought to you by Yokohama.
It doesn't matter if you're 8 years old or 80 years old, your body is your strongest tool. Spartanburg Regional Sports Medicine Institute is here to push you to the next level. With 2 convenient locations, our doctors can diagnose, treat, and heal at our North Grove Medical Park and Star Center offices to get you back in the gym, in the game, and to the next level. We never quit because you never quit. For more information, call 560-BONE.
Welcome back to Inside Wofford Football. Jim Noble along with head coach Sean Watson. Want to see you all out at Gibbs Stadium this Saturday, 1:30 p.m. kickoff. And a guy that you and I have admired from afar for a long time. I remember covering a rookie at Falcons training camp, and to hear a ball whiz by my head, a ball that I'd never heard the sound of a pass make that sound. It turned out to be Michael Vick as a quarterback coach, as a guy who has studied almost everybody who's thrown a football in this game. What do you remember most about Michael Vick as a player first?
As a player, number one thing I always admired about him, he's a great competitor. Number two, he had an exceptional skill set. His arm talent was enormous. He had ball speed and arm strength, and he knew how to use it. Very instinctual player. So he was a guy that just created a lot of offense with his ability and his competitive edge. He was a guy that people have admired as a player for a long time.
And now he's a coach. Norfolk State back in his hometown. They're 1-5. They played some close games as well. When you have 2 teams that go together, I know it's very early in the planning week, but what do we know about Norfolk State thus far?
They're well coached, is what I would expect. They do some really good things. In the a pro element you can see in their. Of course, in their passing game, and they know how to use their quarterback. They have a really good quarterback, have really good skill, so they utilize them. So that's a pro philosophy, targeting your guys, and then defensively they're tied together really tight, and same thing with special teams.
All right, 1:30 kickoff, Gibbs Stadium. We'll have the TV broadcast on ESPN Plus and the Palmetto Sports Network, and keep on fighting the good fight, and good things will happen. Always appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate you watching. Appreciate our video crew that helps out every week, our sports information folks. For everybody here at Wofford, for Sean Watson, I'm Jim Noble. Thanks for watching Inside Wofford Football, and we will see you again next week.